Up, the summer is underway and it's a feast as the Euros are getting spicy just the way we wanted. Another plate that is being added is here in the United States as the Copa America will finally be kicking off. Both CONCACAF and CONMEBOL have finally worked together to bring the competition to North America as the three giants will be hosting the World Cup in 2026, so they want to get themselves prepared. In my opinion, it's a great opportunity for both confederation as CONMEBOL doesn't have a proper format for group stages and CONCACAF has the nations to fill these groups but are nowhere near the level as South America. This is what the Copa America is all about, because united both North and South America into one competition. You may argue that North America's level is nowhere near South America's level, but to me it is completely false. Now, I really do hope that CONMEBOL continues to collaborate with CONCACAF, but it is sad to say that this is probably the last we see, but not the end. There's still hope. Oh, and I'm fucking opposed to the fact that CONMEBOL wants to invite Israel, a country on the other side of the world, who play for a Copa America, who can't even qualify for the Euros or even play at the Asian Cups because every nation over there kicked them off. I really wonder why. But as of now, the Copa America finally, at last, is a competition of the Americas and only one can become the king of the entire continent. In Group A, we have the current World Cup champions and defending Copa America champions, Argentina. The road of defending their title has begun, beginning with this summer, and they are not looking to be stopped. Only one defeat, which was against Uruguay since losing an upsetting World Cup start. Since then, Argentina is still a major powerhouse and are clear favorites to win the whole thing. Don't worry, Messi ain't leaving. Many have doubted that this may be his last Copa America, but he's got until the World Cup. Hmm, maybe you're right about this being his last. Peru isn't currently in the mud and had a rough start through their road to 2026 and are currently sitting at the bottom of the qualifiers. Even Bolivia is above them. In the South American side, Peru is looked as an underdog who can get under the skin of the giants. Although a rookie start in the qualifiers is a concern, Peru is a force that can quickly be challenging. Chile has been in its ups and downs recently. Since going back-to-back Copa America wins, they failed to qualify for the last two World Cups. They've even had a rocky start to their campaign that is leading up to the World Cup and are almost currently sitting at the bottom of the table. But besides the results, Chile is able to go head-to-head with and can be a massive thorn in this group. For Canada, this is the first ever Copa America in the history of the national team. After getting eliminated by Jamaica in the Nations League, which meant CONCACAF 5 was up for grabs against Trinidad and Tobago, and an important invitation to get prepared as Canada will be hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup alongside Mexico and the United States. Spoiler alert, they won. Canada was a dark horse in the qualifiers for the 2022 World Cup, and surprisingly, they did well, but not exactly the way they wanted. They held up against the Netherlands, but by the second half, they gave up 4. Surprisingly, they held a draw until the end against the World Cup runners-up and Euro favorites France. Canada can certainly hold their opponents as long as they want, but they need to be able to finish it off. Since France, the morale is out, and their biggest challenge yet is facing the current World Cup champion. In Group B, we have Mexico, who are currently in the mud. Mexico has been doing well since getting eliminated from the World Cup in the group stage and not the round of 16 for once. They fired Tata Martino and hired Jamie Lozano, who they believe would fix all of Mexico's problems, but Mexico is currently taking after the logo, which is shit. Losing to Honduras is one thing, but getting accused of a by a fixed match is another thing. They punched their ticket to the Copa America after defeating Honduras in the penalty shootout, which was the ugliest thing I have ever witnessed. A win against Panama, and they once again were in the finals of the CONCACAF Nations League, only to lose against the United States once again and later chanting ugly stuff. Congratulations, Mexican fans. Another harsh defeat for Mexico, who are looking to get stronger for this Copa America as they prepared against Uruguay, who smashed through them immediately. They've held up against Brazil, losing the lead by 2, but later coming back only to get crushed at the last minute. The question for Mexico is that, can they compete even at their worst? Maybe. Although they've been playing ugly football, Mexico isn't to be brushed aside as they prepare to hold the World Cup in 2026. La 3, not El 3, not to get confused by Mexico, is one to catch an eye on. After getting punished by FIFA, they still managed to climb up the table and prove that people can't even do shit. They've held up against Argentina, only letting them pass through by one, drawing against Brazil, and losing to Italy by two. Ecuador still has a solid squad, although they were eliminated in the group stage of the World Cup. They pretty much drew against the Netherlands but lost to Senegal. Yet Ecuador isn't to be brushed aside and will be a challenge to get past through them. Venezuela is shockingly doing better as they are setting their eyes to their first ever World Cup qualifications. The renovation of the Venezuelan squad has been insane, even as they are named as the whipping boys of South America. Since then, they've been going on a streak, going head to head with Colombia and Italy only by losing by one. Although drawing against Guatemala is something to be worried about, anyhow, Venezuela can shock everyone this summer despite the odds being against them. Lastly, we have Jamaica, who shockingly won against Canada but were also winning against the United States until they gave up a goal at the final minute. They were later squashed out of the Nations League, only winning third place against Panama. Last time they were at the Copa America was at both 2015 and 2016, where they were immediately squashed out of the group stages. The hopes of Jamaica getting further are high around the squad, as Jamaica is looking to be in a better shape. Still, it will be a challenge for Jamaica, especially in the group where they are mixed with some difficult and better squads. Uruguay has been shocking the continent recently with a surprise win against Brazil and the World Cup champions, Argentina. Under Marcelo Bielsa, Uruguay has been in a major renovation and are second favorites below Argentina, who both countries won 15 Copa Americas each. Their only loss was against the AFCON champions. Ivory Coach is a huge surprise. Despite the loss, they went and bashed Mexico in a matter of seconds. A major factor for this squad is the speed and control of the midfield that will be vital for them. And the opening they found will be deadly and are seeking for their 16th Copa America title. Despite the recent drama in the US national team, they went ahead and fired Berhalter and they rehired him after clearing his innocence. This fucking drama is so stupid. I'm not gonna even bother and explain it. The USMNT are currently kings of CONCACAF, and after going back to back CONCACAF Nations League titles, but the question is, are they able to compete outside of CONCACAF? And the question is, maybe once again. They lost to a slow Germany, squashed by a strong Colombian team, but they held up against Brazil with the draw at the very end. I don't know what to expect. Especially if the US can reach that far, the challenge is to face Uruguay first. Later, the quarterfinals, and it's vital if you want to host the World Cup in 2026. This is the chance to prove that they can go head to head, but as we saw against Colombia, it was pure ugly, and against Uruguay, it was that sentence. Sadly, there's Panama and Bolivia. Let's not get mixed up because the level between these two are different, so let's start with Panama. They bashed through Costa Rica only to get beaten by Mexico and Jamaica at the end. Panama are currently in Group D in the World Cup qualifiers who are set to be moving through the final stages of the qualifiers. They've reached the finals of the Gold Cup only to get beaten by Mexico, and they've lost to Paraguay by one, which they held up pretty much well. Panama are looking to have a different mindset than 2016, but in a group with two major powers, it will be a miracle for Panama to get through, including Bolivia. Yeah, they are not sitting at the bottom of the table, but they are still the whipping boys of South America besides Venezuela. Out of their last fixtures, they only won once, and maybe it came from the high sea level altitude of Bolivia. It is a struggle, and since then, they've been eliminated in the group stage and only made it out once back in 2015. Let's not underestimate them because they can still fight back. Bolivia are looking to make history, but it's a difficult task that they will have to face. At last, in Group D, we have Brazil, which the federation has been in turmoil this recently, eliminated in the quarterfinals against Croatia in penalties, and are currently sitting at 6th in the qualifiers. Not a good result for Brazil. They've even lost to Argentina at home for the very first time in a qualifier match, and lost to Uruguay by 2. Let's not forget Colombia as well. Not forget, since their defeat against Cameroon in the World Cup, they have ever since gone 0-3 against African teams. Despite all this, Brazil is still a powerhouse in the football world, even if the FIFA rankings is full of shit. They've won against England and drew against Spain. A good result for the Brazilians. They later went against Mexico, who were up by 2, and immediately lost the lead. But don't worry, Endra came to save the day, and Brazil is still the top producing nation of the young talents. But they drew against the US, which is questionable. Brazil are still favorites, and even without Neymar, they still have other talents at their disposal. The craziest part is that Ronaldinho, Brazil's top idols, called them shit, but later said, "I'm a prankster gangster. I'm fucking around with you." Literally. Next, we have Colombia, which has been on fire recently. Going unbeaten in 23 games, Colombia aren't fucking around anymore. They won against Brazil in the qualifiers, which shocked the football world. They drew against Uruguay, and if they want to get more further than this, then a win in the Copa America is a fucking statement. Argentina has done this before, and now Colombia is looking to beat the Italian record, something Argentina couldn't do before. I really wonder why. They smashed through the US 5-1. What more can you know about this Colombia team? They're just unstoppable. But now in the group with Brazil, and maybe we'll have to face Argentina or Uruguay again, this is their chance to shine once again. Uruguay can actually be a thorn in this group, as they can hold for a draw. No matter what, Uruguay are looking to improve through this competition. Despite the losses, most of their losses are only by 1, which is impressive that Argentina or Colombia weren't able to squash through them. And grouped up with Colombia and Brazil, Uruguay is a mix of salt that can spice things up in this group stage. Lastly, the masterminds of upset is Costa Rica. Let's not forget about Costa Rica here. They may have lost against Panama by 7, but when it comes to specialities, Costa Rica shockingly can be an upset in this group. They've upset Colombia once before. Can they do it again? Remember? Costa Rica didn't qualify by passing through the Nations League, but had to compete for CONCACAF 6, which they won against Honduras. In a difficult group, their only instinct is to survive, and with their captain as Keylor Navas, it can be a factor of defying the odds. Predictions. Obviously this is going to be a long for an edit, so I'll cut to the chase. Most of the groups this year will be the same, and some switches around. Then we have the knockout stages, and so US over Brazil, yeah, I'm fucking delusional. Then again, I'm delusional on mostly everything, and you cannot change my fucking mind. This maybe will come to bite me in the ass later, but who knows? Anything can happen in the football world.